Welcome to another video from the Gaming Warrior, and today we will be discussing a topic that I see needs to be covered by someone. Pretty sure it's been covered by others, but I'll give my input on it. Politics at the gaming table. From what I've seen over the last few months, I'm seeing a lot of people entering new games or even hobbies and going in there to change everything, and even in similar things. And I'm going to say that is wrong. When you come to a new table, they have established personal lore for their table over weeks, months, even years. So when a new person comes to the table, they don't know if it's going to be a good fit because, well, you're new. So if you're new to the table, don't go in there expecting to change an entire game. Learn the game as they play it at the table. What happens at one table is not what happens at another table. This is a little harder to talk about than I thought it'd be, but oh well, we'll talk about it anyway. And I also see other real world politics being forced onto tables. And that is also something that I would say is not okay to do. Because the real world has little to no bearing on the game taking place at the table, regardless of what political motivation started a game. It's just not. If it can be helped, I would say to avoid bringing real world politics to a gaming table. Because I'm also seeing people confusing politics of a fantasy world, a world where everything is made up, regardless of where something came from. You have to remember that it's a game, not a real world scenario. And I'm seeing a lot of people confuse this with a game, and it's becoming hostile. When you enter a new game or setting or system or whatever, don't jump in looking for everything wrong with it. That's really just rude. And I don't know what else to say on it. It's hard to talk about. Not because it's sensitive or anything, it's just, it's a topic that is hard to talk about. Topic of what's okay at the table. And you're not going to know what is and isn't okay for the table until you get to that table. And when you're entering a new table, know that the game, whoever runs the game master, dungeon master, whatever they decide to call it, is in charge of the setting for that table. Work with your game master to make it work. Don't just jump in and expect to change everything to fit a political ideology that you have for whatever. That's becoming toxic for gaming in general. There's going to be a whole bunch of pauses in this, and I don't care because it needs to be covered. There will be politics at the table, but not all politics need to be there. I would say most don't need to be there, and it's probably a good idea to keep it away from the gaming table and focus on the game that you're playing. If you can add, but also in that case, it's if you're new to a gaming table, again, I can't stress that enough. Don't go into a game expecting to change something because you're coming from the outside coming in, hearing things that you don't like. You're going in with expect to go in with no knowledge because again, it's just whatever gaming community you enter into for whatever hobby, whether it be 40K or Dungeons and Dragons or whatever, it's you don't know how it works for that community or at that table. So learn how it works for that table. Don't go in trying to change everything immediately. That's as inconsiderate as the people going in there are. Again, there's going to be a whole bunch of pauses because I'm trying to think of how to go over this, and it's not easy. It's called showing consideration for what's already there. Again, what happens at my table is not what happens at that table or a different table or your table or I mean, from the years of me running games, it's every time I start a new group, I start from zero. Why? Because homebrew that I needed for one game tape for one group, I may not need for another group. So when I started with a new group, I start with zero homebrew. And we'll build from that as we go. But yeah, it's gaming tabletop gaming is a community thing, not an individual thing. It's you want to be in a group to be with people to play a game. So if you enter a new group, enter with that mindset that you want to make new friends, not tell new friends. If that makes any sense. Yeah, that's what I got for it. So be kind to each other. Game on.